guys, so today I am going to tell you about a bizarre encounter I had while I was on vacation in California at Universal Studios. Okay, so just to let you know, while I'm telling the story, words that come out of my mouth and things that I say are going to be racist and like derogatory terms, so they are not my views. I'm just repeating what this other person said to you so you know what went down. Okay, so as you know, sometimes when I can't walk too much because of the Lyme disease, I will get a wheelchair when I'm at like an amusement park. And so when I was at Universal with John, I had a wheelchair and we were sitting outside, and it was like this outdoor like little seating area that had like table and chairs, eating a donut. And I was sitting in the chair, John was sitting in the other chair. We had a wheelchair, the wheelchair was just like pushed up against the table. So this guy comes over and he's like, "Is that your wheelchair?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you disabled?" "I'm disabled." And I was like, "No, I'm not disabled." I'm like, it's just hard for me to walk around sometimes because I get very tired. And he's like, "Oh." He's like, "I've been hit by 3 cars." I was like, "Okay. Sorry." Then I see him like grabbing at like the side of the wheelchair, like pulling it out more. And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's gonna sit in it." And I'm like, "I don't know him." I was like, don't sit in that." I'm like, that's my wheelchair. Like, please don't sit in that. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." And then he went on to ask us where this attraction was. It's Waterworld. It's like a show. He's like, "Do you know where the Waterworld is?" So we pointed it out to him. Then he was gone. So hours went by. We were in the park doing whatever. And then we were going to go to the special effects show. At this point, I'm in the wheelchair and John's behind me, pushing me. And we were kind of just stopped in front of it, debating on not what time we should go in there. And all of a sudden, the same guy, like comes up behind me. He's like, "Hey guys." I was like, "Hi." And he's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, I think we're gonna go to the special effects show." And he's like, "Oh, cool." And he starts talking to us, and then somebody like walks by and kind of like bumps into him. And he's like, "Yeah, fucking next time, take my arm, why don't ya?" And I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, this guy's hostile. And so then he was like, "I fucking hate people when people do that. They bump into you and they make it seem like it's you who did it when it's really them. That really fucking pisses me off." And when he first came up to us, I was like, "Oh, he's just like a disabled person." I thought maybe he had like a learning disability or something like that. And I kind of felt bad for him. And he just saw me with a wheelchair. And he's like, "Oh, probably another disabled person." But then it like kind of like switched. Like he started getting crazy. So I was like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "That stinks. People bumping into you." He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Those fucking Chinese." He's like, they always taking pictures and they'll just be walking with their iPads and they'll just stop. And then you don't see that they're stopping. You bump into the back of them. He's like, "What the fuck? I fucking hate that." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny." I was like, "John hates selfie sticks." He's like, "One time when I was in school." Now this guy, I think he was probably like in his 40s or something. He's like, "One time when I was in school, there was this girl. She used to drive the whole fucking class crazy. We'd be trying to do our homework and shit and really trying to concentrate, and she'd be fucking around with her camera." I got up in the middle of class and I said, "If you don't put that fucking camera down, I'm gonna split your fucking skull open." And I said this right in front of Sister Mariana. So it was obviously a Catholic school. I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, this fucking guy is going nuts. I was like, "You're gonna split somebody's skull open?" I was like, "Okay, like, why are you telling me this?" And then he's like, "She was a real JB." He goes, "First word, Jew." And I was like, "Jew bomb?" He's like, "Jew bastard. She was a Jew bastard." I'm like, "Okay. Hitler's coming at 6:22. I don't know what that means. I was just kind of in shock that he was saying all these things to us and he had no clue who we were. I later told my friend this story and she looked it up on Google and she saw something about on June 22nd, something about like a Hitler's proclamation or something. I have no idea. If anybody knows what that means, Hitler is coming at 6:22 or on 6:22, please let me know in the comments below because I have no fucking clue. So we're just sitting there and I'm like, is this guy for real? Like, I kind of I was getting weirded out. I'm like, is he gonna try to do something to us? Like, what is he up to? So he's like, what's your name? And I told him my name, and he's like, oh, that's a beautiful name. His attention, like, just totally was on me, like, not on John, like, at all. Like, John told him his name, and, like, he just kept asking, what's your name again? What's your name again? Like, he remembered what my name was, and, like, he just was so focused on me. He's like, I like you, you're really cool, blah, 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 like, talking about, like, going to drink some beers later, this and that, where are we staying, how long are we gonna be there for, he gave me his phone number, he's like, here's my phone number, give me a call, I will, you can come and visit me. He was from New York. He's like, you can come visit me, take the train, I'll have my friend come pick you up. Now, he's talking to me, like, not John, he's talking to just me, like, he's gonna have his friend come pick me up. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go friggin' visit you in New York and have some psycho come pick me up from the train station. Obviously, you have psycho friends if you're psycho yourself. So I was like, I'm not the kind of person to be like, go away. Like, I just am not like that. I just try to be like, yeah, and then hopefully they'll just go away on their own. He wasn't going away. Then he was like, oh, you guys are awesome. I want to take your picture. I was like, all right. And, like, before I could even say, like, all right, the camera was out, and he was like, ching, ching. And I was like, whoa. And then he wanted a picture of, like, just me and him, like a selfie. And, like, the sun was shining, like, right on us. And he was like, again, he started using, like, awful racial terms. He's like, if you look directly into the sun, you become an instant nigger. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe he just said that. I was like, okay. I'm like, yeah, we have to go. We're going to go into that show right now. And he's like, oh, you're going into that show? I saw that show earlier. I want to walk you over there. I really like to walk you into the show. And I was like, all right. He, like, grasped onto the wheelchair and, like, walked into, like, the area with us. And I was like, okay, he's just going to drop us off and then he's going to leave. Because he talked about how he wanted to go see the Simpsons area that they had there. So we get in there. No, he didn't leave. He, like, sat with us. So I'm sitting in the wheelchair. John's behind me, and, like, it's a designated seat for people who are with wheelchair people. And then there was, like, no other seats around except for, like, across the way or in front of us. And he looked frantic, like, where am I gonna sit? Where am I gonna sit? I was like, just sit down there, like, in front. I was like, I just wanted him, like, away from me. So he sat down, and he's just like, turned around, staring right at me, talking to me the whole time. He kept, like, going to put his arm up, like, across, like, on top of the wheelchair arm, but he was putting his arm, like, on my leg and then touching the arm, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I was like, okay, he's just a creep. Like, he's just a weird, crazy, racist, creepy person. And I'm just kind of, like, trying to, like, back away to get his arm off of my leg. And he just started asking me questions, and that when I was like, okay, just ignore him, and then maybe he'll go away. And I was like, he would be talking to me, I was just, like, playing on my phone, or trying to, like, turn around and, like, talk to John, and I'm like, and then, like, stuff would be popping up on the screen in front of us. I'm like, oh, just watch the TV, watch the TV. Then another woman came in and sat, like, to the right of us, and she had a wheelchair. As soon as he saw her, he was like another handicapped person. I don't know if he was, like, on the prowl for, like, a handicapped person because he thought that they were vulnerable and, I don't know, he could hook up with them or something. I have no idea. It was so bizarre. And then, so he finally turned around and watched the show, and at this point, I moved my wheelchair to the side more because I didn't want him in front of me anymore. I didn't want him to, like, turn around and start talking to me. So then at one point in the show, like, I saw him out of the corner of his eye. He turned around and saw I wasn't there. And he was, like, all frantic, like, oh my God, where is she? And then he found me and he was like, okay. And then he came up behind me and, like, I don't even remember. I think he asked me a question. I was like, yeah. And then he went and sat back down. So then the show was over. I kept turning to John and being like, should we just leave in the middle of the show? Should we just leave so, like, he doesn't see us go because it's dark in there? John's like, no. He's like, we'll get rid of him. So we're walking out. He grabs onto the wheelchair again and would not let go. And then John tried to, like, squeeze us between, like, the wall and, like, a pole. So he's like, basically he has no choice but to let go because he's gonna have to like go behind me like to get around the pole. He didn't let go. He like held on to that thing for dear life, and I don't even know how he made it around, but he like squeezed himself around and kept holding on. So we got out into the open, and he's like, "Where are you going now?" And I was like, "Oh, I think we're going to Harry Potter World. Do you do rides there?" And I was like, "Yeah," because thinking I'm like maybe he doesn't go on rides. He's like, "Oh, if you go on a ride, I can watch your wheelchair for you." I'm like, "No, that's okay." I was like, "I don't know really know what we're doing yet." And then John's like, "Simpsons World is over there. You should really go check it out. It's over there. It's over there." He's like, "Oh, okay." I don't know if he got the clue or I have no idea. But he was like, "Can I get a hug from you first?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Can you get up out of the wheelchair?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Leave me alone. I'm not getting up." I just kind of was like, he gave me a hug, but he was like holding me by the back of my head. It was so awkward. And he just kept saying like, "You're awesome, blah, blah, blah." Like, ugh, it was just so weird, so creepy. It went from like, okay, this guy's like lonely by himself here at the park and obviously has some sort of disability, to being like a complete wacko that just like followed us around. So I don't know. That's the end of my story. I don't think that I left anything out. Oh, one thing that I left out though, when he wanted to take the picture with me and him, he tried to sit on my lap. And I was like, "No, you can just kneel down next to the wheelchair." Anyways, but yeah, I think that was that was about it. That was very, very bizarre, and I don't know. Let me know if you guys have had any strange incidences like this where somebody's just latched onto you like a complete stranger when you've been out. But yeah, so I hope you like this story. Please leave me a comment about the 622 Hitler comment. I have no idea. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Stay dark, my friends. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Bye.